Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gomansing. In our top story, residents on St. Croix will have to go to an unfamiliar location when seeking emergency medical services. Corroded and collapsing sewage pipes at the Waniflui Hospital is causing the emergency department to relocate to an adjacent facility in order for the hospital to provide quality care and comply with hospital accreditation guidelines. News 2's Stephanie Brown reports.
A code yellow was activated on May 1st when sewage drain lines and restrooms in the emergency department became compromised.
JFL's management continued to work on short and long-term solutions to address the drainage issue at the hospital, and relocating the emergency department to the Virgin Islands Cardiac Center is the primary choice to ensure that the hospital maintains a safe environment of care for its patients.
The hospital's acting CEO testified on May 18th at a legislative finance committee that bids were being reviewed to map the sewage system.
JFL needs the mapping and the videotape coverage to provide to an architectural and engineering firm to assist with the design of the new wastewater system.
Along with 5 other bills sent to the 32nd legislature by Governor Mapp, Bill 32-0091 was proposed to provide emergency funding to the hospital.
So right now, the estimated cost to replace the wastewater system is estimated at $3 million.
The bill was passed on May 31st in a Senate session.
Very well, 13 yea, 1 absent. Bill number 32-0091 has been approved by this body and will be sent to the governor for further consideration.
However, no details were provided onto the monies needed to assist in the move of the emergency department to the cardiac center. Evangelista had previously requested funding in a finance session
to relocate the operations of the emergency department from its existing location to the Virgin Islands Cardiac Center is approximately $50,410.
The emergency department is slated to temporarily move to the cardiac center by Wednesday, June 14th. For News 2, I'm Stephanie Shalana Brown.
Funding from 23 capital projects will reprogram to fund the sewage repairs and line replacement at the hospital. $150,000 from the Aldersville Senior Center in Frederickstead and $60,000 from the Women's Coalition were among those capital projects. Be sure to count on 2 to keep you updated. The Virgin Islands Relay Service, which is a phone solution for people who are deaf, hard of hearing, visually impaired, or have a speech disability, and they sponsored some workshops so attendees can meet members of the team and learn more about the services. Here's more. Need to make a phone call to someone who has a hearing loss or speech disability? You can get connected with Virgin Islands Relay.
It all comes at no cost to the individuals as long as they have a phone line or internet service.
The Virgin Islands Relay Service, a phone solution for people who are deaf, hard of hearing, visually impaired, or have a speech disability. They sponsored some workshops so attendees can meet members of the Virgin Islands Relay team and learn more about different relay services.
I can't hear it, and it's really nice to be able to use the relay services, because then I don't have to depend on another person to talk for me if I need to make a doctor's appointment or maybe ask some personal financial questions. I don't want maybe other people to know that, and I can have a direct communication. I can have my independence, and there's a wonderful liberating feeling by utilizing these services.
The service is free and available 24 hours. How does it work? Through the assistance of a relay operator.
It's a lot of it, and there's a lot of different ways depending on the individual's needs, and a lot of times we'll work with the individuals. Deaf individuals, and it's fading away, but they used to utilize what's called a TTY. And the TTY they would type on instead of talking, and our operators in the middle would voice what the person's typing and type back to them what the voice person said. So that is one example. Speech impaired individuals or persons with speech disabilities, we have an operator in the middle that is trained to listen to what they're saying and repeat what they say in a clear voice to the voice person, and then type back to them or allow them to listen directly to the other person.
Virgin Islands Relay Services are provided by VIA Relay Services. Contact for more information is you can contact Missy McManus, who's the Sprint Relay Program Manager, or you can log on right there to email her, Melissa, MELISSA .McManus@sprint.com. You can also go on to the website, Virgin Islands Relay website, which is viavi.com/telephone/VI Relay Service. In other news, the Virgin Islands Public Services Commission and the VI Water and Power Authority is at odds once more. According to information released, two alternative energy businesses, Partnership Foresight Renewable Solutions LLC and California Energy Opportunities LLC, may see a cancellation of an approved PSC power purchase agreement. Both energy-based companies have contracts with WAPA for the authority to buy 6 megawatts of power from solar plants located in a state Granite on St. Croix. Released statements inform that when WAPA's credit rating plummeted in 2016, the negotiated contracts between parties required that the authority obtain a letter of credit from a bank to serve as a surety that the authority would be able to hold their end of the bargain. A managing partner from the renewable energy company alleged that WAPA delayed the negotiated projects between both parties by not obtaining the credit letter. Both partnering energy businesses asserted that they contacted WAPA and the authority reportedly informed them that rather than obtain a letter of credit, they proposed to amend the initial agreements. But the Public Service Board rejected the notion of amendments. Then in February, WAPA sent a letter to the energy partners informing that they were canceling the contract. The energy partners exclaimed that they have invested $2 million into the project. Contention arose further when WAPA accused a member of the PSC of writing news released on behalf of the energy partners, which WAPA's chairwoman, Elizabeth Armstrong, cites as an improper insertion of oneself into contract negotiations. Meanwhile, electric service restoration was underway on St. Thomas following 2 generating units tripping offline earlier this morning. The lack of generation capacity at the power plant led to a number of electrical feeders falling offline, resulting in electrical service interruption. Efforts were underway all day to stabilize the power plant with adequate generation capacity to restore service to all affected customers as quickly and safely as possible. Well, in other news, Governor Mapp appeared on NEWS2, and we can take a look at the picture there, and tomorrow we will provide you with the video. Political status, the minimum wage, economic opportunities, and St. Croix's culinary scene, those were among the topics Governor Kenneth Mapp addressed during his live national television appearance on Wednesday. The governor was a guest on host Roland Martin's morning show, NEWS1 Now, a 1-hour weekday news program on the TV1 network airing in 57 million households nationwide and available as an audio simulcast online. Martin is well known as a former CNN contributor and as a senior analyst for the Tom Joyner Morning Show. Martin and his panelists were impressed with the ability of the territory to increase its minimum wage, a battle that's being fought in cities and states across the U.S. The governor shared credit with the Virgin Islands legislature for advancing this issue and said it was critical to bring residents closer to a living wage. Governor Mapp signed that bill into law last year that increased the USVI's minimum wage from $7.25 per hour to $9.50 beginning this month, with another increase scheduled for next year, bringing private sector salaries to a minimum of $10.50 per hour. Now, it is estimated that the 15,000 residents in the territory will directly benefit from the increase in pay. And we'll have a little more on this on tomorrow's newscast. Turning to the courts, Hanselo Ricio, 18, and Junior Feliz, 22, both of the Dominican Republic, pleaded guilty in district court on St. Thomas for their roles in the robbery of a McDonald's restaurant on St. Thomas. Ricio pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit Hobbs Act robbery and discharge of a firearm during a crime of violence, and Feliz pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit Hobbs Act robbery. Both defendants were remanded into the custody of the U.S. Marshal pending sentencing on October 5, 2017. According to the plea agreements filed with the court, March 25, 2017, members of the Virgin Islands Police Department They responded to reports of a robbery at the McDonald's restaurant in the Lockhart Shopping Center after an exchange of gunfire. Riccio, who was unarmed and inside the McDonald's restaurant, surrendered and was taken into custody. Felix was the driver of the getaway car. 3 other men are also charged in district court in that robbery. Riccio faces up to 20 years in prison to commit Hobbs Act robbery and a mandatory 10-year consecutive sentence for discharge of a firearm during a federal crime of violence, and he faces up to 20 years in prison for conspiracy to commit Hobbs Act robbery. Governor Kenneth Mapp has ordered that all flags fly half-staff in honor of this leader who died on May 27, 2017. Former Senator Bingley Richardson served in the 17th, 18th, and 20th legislatures. Now flags are to remain at half-staff, as the governor mentioned, until sunset on June 10th, to following these services, which is scheduled for that day for the late Senate President. June 10th, 2017 also has been proclaimed as Bingley Richardson Senior Day in the United States Virgin Islands to honor and commemorate the life of the late senator and widely respected citizen. As acting governor, Lieutenant Governor Osbert Potter issued that proclamation, which includes biographical highlights of Mr. Richardson's life as a public servant, veteran, and successful entrepreneur. The document also expresses Governor Kenneth Mapp's respect and admiration for one with whom he served in the Virgin Islands legislature. Here's a reminder for the services set there. Memorial tributes and reflections will take place on Thursday, June 8th from 10 a.m. to 12 in the Earl B. Otley Legislative Hall, St. Thomas. Senate President Richardson will lie in state for public viewing on Friday, June 9th from 4 to 7 p.m. at the VI Legislature. The funeral service will be on Saturday, June 10th at 10 a.m. at the Christchurch Methodist in Market Square. Interment will be at the Western Cemetery, number 3. Washington is holding its collective breath ahead of tomorrow's testimony of fired FBI Director James Comey. Meanwhile, today, the intel chiefs were grilled on Capitol Hill, and President Trump revealed his new FBI pick. Scott McLean is in Washington with the latest, including Comey's bombshell opening statements that were just released. Here's more.
Part of the news Washington was expecting tomorrow came today. Fired FBI Director James Comey's opening statement was released ahead of his testimony tomorrow on Capitol Hill. In it, he describes President Trump asking him privately to end any probe into former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn related to conversations with the Russian ambassador. Comey quotes Trump as saying, "I hope you can see your way clear to letting this go, to letting Flynn go." Comey's statement also describes 2 phone calls in which Trump urged him to publicly declare Trump was not personally under investigation. Meanwhile, America's top intelligence officials were on Capitol Hill to answer questions about privacy. But the Senate committee wanted to know about their private conversations with the president and whether Trump pressured them to downplay the Russia investigation.
I have never been directed to do anything I believe to be illegal, immoral, unethical, or inappropriate.
The NSA director, the acting FBI director, the deputy attorney general, and the director of national intelligence all broadly denied they had been pressured to do anything inappropriate.
I'm asking whether or not you have ever been asked by anyone.
I understand, but I'm just not going to go down that road.
But all 4 declined to answer specifically whether they'd been asked.
They didn't really give a legal basis for their reasons to decline to answer.
Meanwhile, the president used his Twitter account to name Comey's replacement, former DOJ official Christopher Wray.
Well, keeping our eye on the economy, Apple may have found a way to end the dangerous practice of texting while driving. The tech giant will soon introduce a new iPhone feature called Do Not Disturb While Driving. When the iPhone is connected to a car via cable or Bluetooth, or if the car is moving, the phone will withhold any notification for texts and other updates. If someone texts you while driving, the phone will send that person a message saying you're driving and can't respond at the moment. And the iPhone screen will be locked to prevent drivers from using many of the device's apps. Passengers who are not driving can disable the feature, which will be part of Apple's iOS 11 operating software. Taking a look at the numbers there, we can see the Dow up 37, NASDAQ up 22, S&P 500 up 3. Coming up on News 2, we have an update on the North Star road repairs. An update for residents in that area who are looking for some relief. Here's coming up next. Welcome back. Well, here's an update. As we shared last month, Public Works Commissioner Gustav James said research has showed that the North Star Village Road on St. Thomas is privately owned and therefore not eligible for public repair. However, he said his office would need to do some additional research after he was presented with a copy of a 1990 act signed by Governor Alexander Farrelly, in which the governor was authorized to incorporate the road into the public works system. Senator Marvin Blyden said that repairs can be scheduled as soon as property owners formally deed the road over to the government. The board of the development has met and voted to do so. Now, the board has to write a letter, he says, to the department deeding the property of the road to the Department of Public Works. And this last piece of documentation, he said, is what is needed to get assistance from Public Works. The Department of Health shares this week's Zika surveillance report, and they say no new cases to report. The numbers are clarified each week as the department receives the lab results back in the territory. And across the VI, the department reported no changes: 682 confirmed cases on St. Thomas, 247 on St. Croix, and 88 on St. John. All remain the same. Commencement ceremonies continue across the territory, celebrating honor and achievement. St. Croix's AZ Academy, they held their graduation ceremony last night at the Juanita Gardin Auditorium. Now, in front of family and friends, the only two members of the class of 2017, Nikita Beck and Noor Hamad, were presented with flowers. They were treated to a special video, then received their diplomas, officially making them high school graduates.
To share my opinion if my opinion mattered and it didn't. And I also learned that teamwork really is very important. Now, I say goodbye to this great chapter of my life, and I look forward to what comes next. Thank you.
Congratulations to our two graduates there and all the graduates across the territory. Virgin Islands Department of Education State Office of STEAM Education inviting the media and the public to attend the Stewards of the Reef Target Marine Experience and Education Program Awards ceremony. That's on Thursday, June 8, 6 p.m. at Room with a View. Now, St. Croix had theirs, and now it's St. Thomas. 6 students in grade 10 to 12 attending the Ivana Yudorkin High School, Shalamali, and Antilles School. They will be recognized for successfully completing the 5-month program aimed at increasing awareness of the importance of protecting and managing local coral reefs and related ecosystems. Well, the weekend is near, and Emmett P. shares the spotlight on some of our entertainers. Here's more.
Ready. It's another episode. When we out on the road, this is what we love to celebrate,
On this edition of Spotlight, we say thank you. First, to our viewers for tuning in each week and supporting our presenters, their events, and their businesses. Next, thank you to our presenters for allowing us to feature their restaurants, attractions, venues, events, and best of all, their stories. Summer 2017, stay tuned as we turn it up. Turn it up on Spotlight, presenting positive people and their stories. And the Weekend Guide, your where to go, what to do guide of the USVI and beyond. Let's feature you, your business, event, festival, or service. Just call 340-228-1199 or email eprevo@bestislandfed.net. weekend is coming. Be sure to not miss the Weekend Guide, your guide to the hottest events.
Summer 2017 may be the hottest one yet, as the St. Kitts Music Festival celebrates 21 years of world-class music. From June 22nd to the 24th, come and experience the intoxicating beauty of St. Kitts, while enjoying sizzling hot performances by Third World, Shabba Ranks, Goo Dolls, Mavado, Jackie, and a whole lot more. Follow your heart to the St. Kitts Music Festival this June. It's sure to be an experience like no other.
It was just a beautiful day out here today, and luckily that trend is pretty much going to continue. Taking a look at our satellite and radar, well, we do see some precipitation to the north of us. We do have a couple systems moving through. With that, some of our fronts to the north are certainly getting a lot of wet weather. Not here, though. Things are staying pretty calm. We could see a couple showers pass through, a couple clouds. Clouds will be increasing, but certainly no rain in our forecast. 80 degrees for our temperature tonight, partly cloudy skies. Those clouds are going to continue to build through tomorrow. So St. John, 89 degrees, partly sunny conditions. St. Thomas, 89 with a shower possible, very brief, and then it will be gone. And in St. Croix, 89 degrees, same story, partly sunny with just a brief passing shower. Now the waves are only 2 to 4 feet and the winds are east 10 to 15 knots. We don't have any advisories, but certainly be careful if you are out there on a small boat or if you are snorkeling, for example, because the sea is a little rough right now. Waves 2 to 4 at the Caribbean side, winds out of the east 10 to 15 knots as well. So as we take a look at our 5-day forecast, we see Thursday, partly sunny skies, 89 degrees. We're up to 90 by Friday with, again, a shower in places. Not everyone gets wet. On Saturday, a shower in spots, 90 degrees. Those showers will be very brief and then they'll be out of the way. Saturday, similar story. Sunday, mostly sunny and a bit breezy. So it's going to be a gorgeous day, but you will feel the wind at times. Temperatures remain at 90 degrees. And on Monday, well, it's beautiful. Mostly sunny conditions, maybe just a few clouds passing through. Nice and dry and just a gorgeous day to get out to the beach. Back to you, Sandy.
Thank you for that. Time for our News 2 weather picture there by Mia Pimtel, third grader, giving us some sunshine and some nice weather there, Mia. Great colors. Thank you for that. Send us your News 2 weather picture to the address on the screen and then tune in to see it right here on News 2. Stick around. We have News 2 Sports. Comes your way next.
I'm Gary Anthony, and this is News 2 Sports. Surf's Up. 2 words that bring a smile to every surfer's face. St. Thomas native John Gozzi describes himself as a musician who is passionate about surfing. He has surfed all over the world, the Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, Indonesia, and more. Now, John was kind enough to sit down with News 2 Sports and talk about how he got the surfing bug and his latest adventure, the 2017 International Surfing Association World Surfing Games in Biarritz, France.
I moved through to the second round, and that's where I finished in the competition. So it's a double elimination setup through round 2. Out of the 4 people in the heat, the top 2 advance. So that's where I ended. But you know, it's funny how the World Games, this for the International Surfing Association, it's unlike any competition, really. It's the gathering of nations, which is really so impressive, and so I feel like I won all the way. Just being there representing the Virgin Islands was something so special. Of all the cool travels I get to do throughout the years, this was a special one, very special. What really got me into surfing was growing up on Sapphire Beach in the shore pound from an infant. We would go on vacations in the summer times to the Outer Banks in North Carolina, and that's where I got my first surfboard. My mother went into a pawn shop in Nags Head and found an old plastic Fantastic, which are long out of print. My family made it full-time in the Virgin Islands in '99, and just spent a lot of time with my friends from high school, Antilles School, going all of our waves around the area and growing up and really pushing each other. Then college in Puerto Rico is when I found the real juice. There's no joking over there. They call Puerto Rico the Hawaii of the Caribbean for a reason. So it's heavy waves up over 20 feet. So it's just been a lifelong drive to get better and charge heavier waves.
Yeah, John, hang 10. From shooting the tube to shooting threes, Game 3 of the NBA Finals is tonight at 9 p.m. The Warriors are up 2-0 over the Cavs as the series moves to Cleveland. Kevin Durant has made the Finals his personal playground, averaging 35 points, 11 rebounds, and 7 assists. Is LeBron worried about being down 0-2? Nah. To him, it's just a matter of being focused.
But I can refocus. I can, get my guys ready, get myself ready. But you hate to continue to put yourself in these positions, but at the end of the day, it's still just basketball.
That's it for sports. Sandy, back to you.
Thanks for those highlights, Gary, and big congrats to my friend John Ghazi, represented the VI well. Welcome back home. That's all for this edition of News 2. We'd like to thank you for joining us. For all the latest, have a wonderful evening. We'll see you next time.